What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are back on this F650. If you haven't been following along, go back, check the previous videos. You'll see what we installed air right on the front. We installed air right on the back. We put a big notch in this thing only to see how low we can get this truck. So today we are going to be doing plumbing up the air, putting the electrical lines in, putting the tank in, and well, we also need a panhard bar for the front and rear to stop this whole axle to, from floating left to right. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you are, hit that like, hit that dislike, throw that comment out here, share this out. Let's go. All right. So before we get started, I've got maybe I got something I got to clear up, or kind of get all the clouds out of the air for this one, because I've been getting a lot of comments. There was one of the previous videos I was setting the angle and everything, building the back for the 2-link, and well, I don't know if I said it wrong. Maybe it was confusion. Maybe it was just the way other people do things. I think we're doing the same thing though. So what I want to clarify is the angles, the angle of the engine and the angle of the pinion. Okay. I said they're on the same plane. They are. I call them both going up or both going down, depending on which way you look at it. Other guys are saying, no, you have to set this one to positive. You have to set this one to negative. I think that's in their brain because, well, this one's down and we think down is negative, and we think this one's up and that one's positive. That's cool. If that's how you want to remember it, that's how you remember it. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. I say they're all on the same, I take it from the same angle, meaning, if only I had a square sitting here. So imagine the bottom of this floor is the bottom of this triangle, right? And then the front is here, right? I take everything from this point and run it, well, it'd be running down on this one, okay? Because the engine's going down. This has to meet that. So I'm taking all of my measurements from here is what I'm saying, okay? So this would be the pinion. This would be the engine and transmission somewhere in here. And well, this line right here, that is the angle in which everything is falling on, okay? Now, also to clarify a few things, I said there's an imaginary line above this. There is. There is another line parallel to this one right here. That is the pinion, and this one is my engine and transmission, okay? If your pinion and your engine are on the same line here, something's wrong. It's impossible. It's really hard to do. It's got to be parallel, okay? So that's to clarify. See, I can't even say clarify. Anyways, that's to clarify my imaginary line. I said that's pointing up on the rear pinion. Meaning, if I put a laser on that and shot it out, and I put a laser on the tail end of this transmission, they're never going to meet. They're going to run. I want them to run parallel. So let's start with this again. I take everything from that point, imaginary point, way up here, and it's down. Okay. So let me show you the angles. Okay. I also had a couple guys say, well, you can't really use the digital gauge. You have to use a analog one. You got to use this old school stuff. No, you don't. You really don't. And just to clarify, also, I do have an old one, and there is no negative on here. It says, somebody said, well, one side says negative and one side says positive. And if you put this on the face, actually, let's just go ahead and do it. Now, we're going to put that on the face. Okay. And we're going to call that about 6 degrees, right? It's to the right of the 0. So now they're saying if I take this and I put it right here, that it's going to be negative. No, it's not. If I take this, I stick it on the face of here, look, I still went the same way. So the degrees are the same. I mean, the degrees are the same, but it's also, there is no negative or positive. This one is going down if you're looking at it from this way. And this one, if you come all the way back here, which is crazy, we're taking measurements from 2 different ways, and this one's going up, okay? So that's where they're confused. Also for, why I use these, they say, oh, you can't use these because there is no negative, doesn't say positive, whatever. Okay, let's take a look right there. Do you see that little arrow? That one says down. If we rotate, that one says up, okay? That's reading off of this face right here. So let's go ahead. We're going to slap that on there. That one says 84.4. What does that say? What does that little arrow right there show? Down. Okay. That's because I pulled from that front down. I didn't set this digital gauge up to, just make it confirm with me, but that one is showing 84.6. So we take that away from 90, which is going to be 5.4 down. Okay. So by others' theory saying I can't say this is on the same plane, they're saying that it's all backwards, blah, blah, blah. That means this one would be opposite. It would be up, right? Well, if that's the case, why is that one saying 5 degrees down again? Okay. So to clarify, you can use a digital gauge. You can use an analog gauge. I actually use both of them just to make sure everything is on everything matches. But I do want to clarify, maybe we're saying the same thing. Actually, we are saying the same thing. We're just calling it something different, okay? You're calling it positive and negative, and I'm just calling it at the same angle, okay? If this is 5 degrees down, well, that's going to be 5 degrees as well. Not down, on the same thing, okay? So also, I was told set it at 2.5, call it good, and we'll be done. No, I can't, all right? I haven't touched the mounts on this engine. That is the stock set. That's everything that's 5 degrees down. That's what, their engineers or whatever else decided it wants to be. So I'm setting the back to 5 degrees as well. Pretty simple. For those that say 2.5 is the universal, yes. 2.5 is universal because anything past 3 degrees, we know that our U-joints start acting up. They really can't articulate to past 3 degrees. So we understand that. But you can't just say 2.5 degrees is universal. And that's what I got to set everything to do, because that's the mindset of, well, that's most hot rod guys that can adjust their back ends, or drag strip guys that can adjust their front transmission angle, they can adjust their pinion angle, they can do all that stuff kind of on the fly, or they're building something from scratch and they just set it to that. So yes, 2.5 does work, but that does not work in this application. So let's not get in the mentality of telling everybody that you got to put it at 2.5 and it's got to be this way. Everybody just do it your own way, do it your own style, because we'll all end up doing the same thing in the end. So, all right, I'm done ranting and raving. I just wanted to clear the air on kind of, maybe I said it wrong or whatever else, but I was told lots of times that this is not going to work and that the angles of the dangles are just going to, destroy themselves. So there you go. There's my 2 cents. All right, here's the game plan for a panhard bar. I'm going to mount to this side of the frame, and I'm going to mount to that side of the axle. Try to get my bar as long as I can and with minimal travel as possible. So the only way to do that, really, can't put nothing on here because that's too far over, and I don't really like some sort of pipe just sitting on here with some gussets. I don't trust that too much. So my plan is to make a bracket that kind of goes with this radius here. I'll weld it to here, to the axle itself. I'll have the pipe here coming out. It's going to stand off. It's got to stand off at least to here. The tabs for the panhard bar is going to be mounted over here. I need it to come past. It's got to clear the pumpkin, so we're going to call it a total of 11 inches, depending on how wide my link bar is, the width of that. We're going to say 11. So taking an 11-inch pipe and just sticking it on the end of there, well, it's going to break. Got it. So that bracket I was just telling you about, we'll put one here, and then I'm going to put another one kind of, I don't know, somewhere in here, so it kind of saddles it here on the back and kind of midway up this pipe. Now, I want to take this bolt, we'll shove that down inside. Yeah. Well, if I can, there we go. Anyways, the idea is to take this grade A bolt, guys, okay? We're going to put that down inside of here. It'll slide somewhere inside of here to where I have enough shank that my end link is going to rotate or be able to pivot on. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill some holes where the head of the bolt is back here, maybe 3 holes, and plug weld that so the back is welded up, and then we'll weld the front in with a spacer of sort also to keep the front from breaking and snapping off also. So let me go ahead, figure out the contour of that, And we'll just start building it as we go, because once again, confusion sets in when I just start pointing and throwing things at everybody. Let's just start building it and it'll start coming together. All right, got me a contour gauge. I'm going to shove that. I'll get my hand out of the way. Shove that there. That's going to give me that radius there, and then I need to know how far over I can go, which looks like, to be safe, we'll go 3 inches, and then the height of it is 5. So 3 width, high 5 on this radius. All right, so before I even get started, I'm just going to make a mark for some sort of center reference line. So we'll say, there you go. The width of my contour gauge is 6. I want it to actually go up a little bit higher, maybe 3/4. We'll say a 1/2 inch more there. So we're going to round that up to 7. So we're going to find the center of this, which is 6. We'll mark it on here, which is 3. Well, the center's not 6, the center's 3, the overall of this is 6. And we're gonna line them up together. We wanna go 7. Like I said, we're gonna have that 1/2 inch, so let's go ahead and do 3.5 on the outside, 3.5 on this outside, and that's where it will go. There's my square. Just extend these up. Okay. I also know this gauge, let's extend my center one up also. We said 3, right? 3 wide and 5 deep. Or the 3 wide and 5 tall. Okay. So this way we want to look at this to make it easier. Put that on this gauge. That'll give me a whole lot better. There we go, do that. Put that in the center. There's my angle with the diagonal. Okay. So now we can only go 3 this way. It's 3 wide because if we're looking down on it this way, that's going to be the pumpkin, and then we got to go 3 wide and 5 is our height, and then we'll just kind of start connecting dots. So 3 is there, 5, half of that is 2.5, and 5. So this has to go to that line because there's my top width, and then we're going to taper it. We're not even going to taper it, actually. We'll just keep it squared off because it's a square axle. So imaginary this way, up, over, down. And we'll cut that out and we'll transfer that. Does that look right? There you go. There's the pumpkin. There's my width of 3, and there's my height. We'll just kind of round everything off here. All right, got my template kind of here. The idea is that will go against there. I cut it short just to see if I could go a little bit shorter, but I don't like it short, so I had that inch back over on this side. But that'll be my back plate, and now I need to, let's see if this has the same shape to it. So basically I can take this same template and just extend the end here to wherever that one is. Round the corner, round the engines off. Don't round the engines off, okay? Round the ends off. Basically extend that, make it look like a big tab, and that'll be 2 pieces. All right, here's all my pieces. So this isn't the link, but this was the idea again. Cut the bolt back, or get the bolt back inside of here, open up some holes there, plug weld the end, center it with another sort of spacer, keep the end from kind of walking around as I weld it. Here is the back mount, and here is the front bracket. See, it basically looks just like this, but extended, rounded off, and there's my radius for this pipe. So this will sit kind of like that. This one will sit kind of offset like that, and that'll be my bracket. Oh, looky, we already have it made. So here you go. Here's the bracket that'll go on the actual pumpkin. This one will go in that back corner. And here is my pipe with my bolt going through it. It's basically a long grade A bolt like this. It's sitting about in there like this. Spot welded or plug welded all the way around here. More holes drilled here and filled in, and as well as the outside. So this should, there's my 11 inches from this side to that side all the way out. This should set like that now. Good and tight. This gives me basically my shank for my bushings, for my mounts, for my end link bars, which are, let's just say it's this one right here. This is the sleeve that goes through it. This sleeve will slide onto there. This will be slid onto there. We got room for the bushing material and washers, lock washers, and nuts. And this will be my panhard bar that gets loaded onto there, and that'll be the length. So let's go ahead and get this mounted onto the axle, and then we'll figure out what are we going to figure out? Oh, we're going to have to figure out where it goes on the frame, and then we can measure out our panhard bar and go from there. All right, got this plate up here on the axle mounted. Got one on the pumpkin all welded up. Now we should be able to go ahead, pop a measure, or let's get some tabs built first over here, and then the bar should connect from here to here. We're good to go. All right, for the panhard bar, I've got it about mid-ride height right now. So in order for it to travel its same distance up, let's use this thing. So in order for this panhard bar to do its same travel down and up, I put it in the midway travel. Now, what you want to do also now is to have whatever distance this is to the ground, the same mount over here. So that thing is sitting parallel to your axle about mid-travel. That's how I set mine up. Now, once again, we're at mid-travel. This arm is going to come down a little bit, so I got to figure out also some clearance here as far as this bar not hitting the tab. But that'll all play out here in a little bit. So let me go ahead and get a measurement from the ground to there. It looks like we're right at 27 inches. So I'll get some tabs made up. I think what I'm going to do is have them on the outside of the frame here, because it drops down about 4 inches to here. And that should definitely clear it if I do it on the outside. Now I got to make sure the bar, as it travels, stays away from this lateral bar as well. So let me go ahead and get some tabs built up, and we'll go from there. All right, this is what I'm thinking. Here is the diameter of the bushing end link. That'll be like this. And here's my frame. It is a 3x6, and I think it's got enough clearance. So this is what I meant by the side and the bottom only. So it'll sit like that. I'll make 2 of them, because if I had anything on the inside, I would be getting way too close to this bar that's going up and down. So that clears it just fine. May take off just a 1/4 inch on the outside here, or that'd be the inside, just because. All right, transfer that to some sheet metal, some steel, cut it out, and get it welded in. Okay, here is the idea. We got both brackets cut out, kind of tapered on the ends where it's going to be welded. There is the end link bushing that's going to go in there. And now we set it. Get that out of there. It's going to be set just about like so. There you go. That meets all the way to that side. And then we'll have a panhard bar. All right, this left panhard mount bracket, whatever you want to call it, that is all burned in. Now I need to take a measurement from the center of this hole and the center of that. And well, that'll be my panhard bar. So I think I'm going to add probably about maybe a 1/4 inch to it, just to kind of get this arm, to give it a little bit more clearance in case we do any side-to-side motion. So I'll kind of open it up to about 3/4 versus that 1/2 inch. And really, that's about it right now. Measure, cut, weld, put it in. All right, panhard bar is complete. Coped on both ends, 22 and 5/8 with, that's with a little bit of love to the left side because I wanted to clear that other cantilever arm. So now this should go in there. Like that, and then I guess I should put that side in first. And then I'm going to have to persuade that frame to slide over just a little bit. I'll probably have to put something to pull it or just kind of wedge something in this side. But there is the idea for the rear. That's a beefy bar, okay? 1/4 inch wall as well. I don't think it's going anywhere. And as long as my welds hold, oh, we're going to be just fine. All right, as far as the front goes, here's kind of like the plan. That is a 2-inch bar again, just like we got on the back. We've got our heim joint here, so we can go up and down. Ideally, you would have, the mounts coming the opposite way, but Heim joint's got enough travel for me to do it this way, and this was the best kind of tactic to approach this to kind of get me a panhard bar that's not sticking out so far in front of the axle here, and well, that works. So I've got the frame raised up to about half of its travel. We'll get this thing kind of down to center, parallel, which is right about there. And well, that's where I had a glove. It's hot. She's fresh off the welder, okay? Ha. So I got this drop down bracket here. Basically, kind of like the back one, it's just a lot longer. Added a pipe in the middle to kind of give it a little bit more strength, side to side. This will should clear just like that. Clears my engine mount bolts. Well, that goes in there. Then we'll pop a measurement from the center of that to the center of the mount over there. Go ahead and cope that off. In the front, well, we should be good to go with the front. Panhard bar will be attacked. It's done. All right, it's already being attacked. Back is done, and then we can go ahead and move on to plumbing the air lines, figuring out where we're gonna mount this air tank, and well, just keep moving. All right, got the drop bracket in for the panhard bar, front panhard bar. That's all good and welded in. I do have a little bit of clearance now. It's all the way down. And I still want to put a bump stop in here, probably a 1-inch bump stop, but it's, lighting's a little crappy. It is hitting right there on the, let's see, I got a light. On the front, what do you want to call that? That's another, looks like just a front cross support. Well, I guess it is holding up little parts of the engine too. So right there. It's just barely hitting it. It ain't hitting it too hard. It's not like resting on it or nothing. But I will clearance that out here in a little bit. It is time to mount the air tanks, the manifold for all the valves that, control the air up and down. Anyways, we've got a ride tech setup. Got the tank, 2 compressors, manifold, comes with all the lines. This also has the sensors, the ride sensor setup. So we'll get all of that stuff mocked up. Digital display. I went ahead and get all the holes plugged in where it needs to be. We got some supply line there. We've got pressure regulator, check valve for the compressors. Went ahead and put all the sensor lines in, the air lines in. Basically all the stuff that, nobody wants to see on camera. So lots of Teflon tape and lots of getting aggravated because you don't know if they're sealed up or not, and we don't find out if they're sealed up or not until we pressurize that tank. So, where are we going to put this tank? All right, so my first thought is, I can't do anything back in that area right there because, let me set that down. You can see about here, this is excess. That's about where the bumper is going to go, so I don't have any room back here. I want to keep this area opened up so he can put his gas tank in here, kind of up forward as far forward as possible. All that would be gas tank area. May have to take out one of these supports for his gas tank. Not sure yet. So, well, here's the spaces I have. I've got, a little bit of that, maybe for a compressor and a compressor. I don't want to go much higher than the top of those notches, which actually the bags are going to go a little bit higher. I think they go about 1.5 inches higher than the notches. So I can go there a little bit. My thought is stick it right here. Now obviously it's not going to be resting on those bars. We'll go up as high as we can, which will give me, it's about 1 inch higher right now. But all the lines going up, it's going to be a little tricky because, there are lines and wires, and that's going to be pushing on the bottom of the bed. So, flip it around. Can I flip it around? Sure. Yep. He doesn't like to go there either. I don't know just yet. I don't like that the check valve and the pressure regulator is pointing down. If it was on the side or the top, I'd be a little happier. But I don't know. I'm gonna keep looking around, and then I'll show you where I decide to mount this. Okay, I'm pretty sure I know where everything's gonna go now, so I'm gonna show you guys. So in the back, I've got the manifold sitting here straight on, right here behind the bags. What I'm thinking and hoping is, well, here is the end, right? This is where all the bumpers and everything's gonna get mounted. So the bed should be sitting here somewhere. So all this has to be opened up anyways. If we can do some sort of access door for later in the bed, at least everything is right here, being able to work on or do some sort of maintenance, or if it breaks, it's right there versus hiding somewhere way under here. That's the mechanical portions of this whole system. So I wanted to kind of everything back here I just wanted it back here so it's easy access, okay? All right. So we've got the manifold mounted here. It ain't going nowhere. I've got one compressor already mounted here. The other one will go here. I have put some nutserts into the frame. The compressors have these little, rubber feet on it, so it shouldn't vibrate too much back here. Plus, this being all boxed in and nice and thick, we shouldn't hear too much of the rumbling and the bumbling and the mumblings and the, just the vibrating. Shouldn't. So, back here, everything kind of squared away. The tank, well, as much as I didn't want to get in this area, I had to a little bit, okay? What I mean by a little bit is it's just that amount. Now, it is sitting higher than the bridge or the notch, but that's okay because when the bags are aired up all the way, it's going to be the same height as that. So regardless, the bed had to be cut to very close to this height anyways. And I like it this way because all the plumbing's forward on it, and I can just kind of push everything forward for the front, and the back lines can just kind of sweep in. Okay. The brains of everything's right here dead in the middle. That's pretty, a middle spot. That's why it's in the middle. For all the lines to kind of meet here as far as electrical versus going all the way to the back. And then if the battery wants to be somewhere in the bed in the middle, like right behind the cab, that's where it can go. And if he wants to still run a battery in the front, it's still not that long of a charge or a run to get all my electrical to the brains of everything. So, there you go. That's where all my components are going to go for now until, the next 5 minutes I'll look at it and realize none of it's going to work. But, that's for another time. So, what's next? Now it's actually running the electrical. I'll kind of run everything where I think the battery should go. And then I get all the air lines plumbed as well. So, let's get at it. All right. Well, it's the end of the video. We're pretty close to the end of the video. And I realized, the microphone hasn't been working the entire video. Did some editing last night and realized, audio is garbage on this. So I do apologize for the audio previous to this right now. I went ahead and overnighted a new mic, and it came in. So we should be back up and going. I don't know. Technology, stuff just breaks. Anyways, so we are at the end of the video, but I'm going to show you everything I've done since we last talked. And that is, it's all done. All right, so this is the ride height, all right? We're about, I think it's 16 inches in the front and 14 in the back. Yes, it is sitting up higher in the front right now because, these rims are a little bit higher than that. And what I mean by a little bit is 2 inches higher. That's from the bottom up. So we're sitting 2 inches higher in the front than the bottom. There's our panhard bars we got all put in. That is all nice and wrapped up. So you can get over here. There's the mounts to it, a little support in the middle. Went ahead, got the steering all tied together. We are running into a little bit of clearance issues when it's completely down. Still turns and all, but it rubs. So I'm gonna have to probably think of another way or something else to do here for the steering. Front bags, those are already all good to go. Everything is plumbed through the frame, both sides. When I made these gussets, I had some holes put in them. That way I can kind of come through, goes through the frame. Yes, there is protected on there, so it ain't gonna get chafed. There's the other side running through the frame there. Here's these. What else? So we got some shocks put in. So shocks still needs new shocks. These are the stock shocks. These are actually the front ones. They actually have the same. Well, I say the same. That is the size I need for the back. They're kind of bad. One's bad, so it still kind of bounces a little bit, but it's going to be good once we get new shocks. Put the bridge bar in. Use the bridge bar also as my shock mounts. Tank's all good and plumbed up. So all the other lines, if you notice, we still got the valves back here, but all the lines are actually coming through, going up underneath into the frame, going down, up over the bridge, and then shooting out the front, which is right there. So there's two lines coming in there for the one for feeding the tank. I'm sorry, feeding the manifold, and then one is feeding the compressors, at least on this side. Earlier, if you had noticed in the video, there was a bar going between here. I went ahead and eliminated that. That was just kind of there temporary, like I mentioned earlier, to see if that kind of helps keeping these spread apart a little bit, because they only really, not structure, but when this bags go up, it's just a lot of torsion on that. So I went ahead, put some heim joints in here in the bars, and that kind of keeps everything kind of synced together. It actually works really well. I'm gonna tell you right now, those compressors get hot. Although I did cycle them probably 72 times. You probably only cycled them 6 times in, you know, a matter of an hour, but they get hot. Okay, so don't cycle your compressors that much. All right, I don't know what else really to show you except for all the wiring's done, all the plumbing's done, the tank's good to go, no leaks. As of now, if anybody else does air ride, you know that leaks come up, you know, probably once every, 12 days. And you got to fix one. And then that one gets fixed. And you got to find another one. So it's just a never-ending battle. Let's go ahead and, I guess we should operate this thing, right? Operate it up, down, middle, left, right. No, we're not doing any left or right action. It should be just kind of the front and the back. Because, well, the way the rear is set up, it really doesn't like to go left and right. It'll do it, but it's really not meant to set up that way. Anyways, all right. So right now we are set up. What is that, number 2? We're set up for ride height. This is, let's do it back here so you can actually see it. I don't even know if I can. Oh, it's like a long leash. All right. This will be air down. Oh, gotta unlock it. Unlock. Huh. Let's go up to I am still trying to figure out why it keeps kind of cycling the valves. When I do it through the brains of everything, it kind of cycles my valves up and down. It's kind of an odd setup. So I'm still trying to figure out why it's doing that. Manually, they drop just fine. But anyways, let's go ahead and drop her back down. This thing locks. Every time I hit button, see it'll lock. Unlock. There we go. Anyways, things like cycling, going up, down, not down, but right now it's just kind of letting air out slowly, and it kind of goes to a duty cycle and it kind of cuts itself off. But if I manually do it, was just fine. Anyway, still working on a couple bugs. I think they're bugs. I don't know. I'm assuming there's not enough weight on the back of this thing. I don't think it's a product issue. A, because I have swapped those lines to the front, and the front valves, when I wire it to the back, still kind of does that. I don't think there's enough weight on it. The front's got plenty of weight, and then we're not having any issues on that. So we're going to slap a bed on here one day, and once we put the bed on, maybe we'll kind of troubleshoot from there. I don't think we're going to have any issues from there. So anyways, that's it. Thanks a lot, guys, for sticking around to the end if you're still here. And if you are still here, don't forget to subscribe, okay? If you are subscribed, share it out, hit a like, hit that dislike, throw a comment out there. Guys, we will see you guys next time.